All right, people, I want to show you something really special, something vintage, something from the early 80s. So these are the comic books which were published by Walt Disney, called Walt Disney's Wonder World. They were published in India from 1980 to 1985, and they were published by Chandamama Classics and Comics. So this is the very first issue that was published in 1980. This is volume 1, and it's the very first issue. Take a look at that there. Published by Chandamama Classics and Comics in 20th October 1980. Yeah, so I was 2 years old back in 1980, and my dad would buy these comic books for me. They were published, I think they were published fortnightly or 2 issues a month, something like that. So they were like 24 issues every year, and the comic books were published right from 1980 to 1985. So volume 1 was from 1980 to 1981. Volume 2 was from 1981 to 82, and the final volume was in 1985. Now I've got, my dad bought me most of these comics as a kid, and usually they had a lot of ads from the 1980s like these. I mean, if you know about the 1980s in India, it was a completely different time. We didn't have Netflix, we didn't have cable TV. Yeah, I mean, comic books, these were an escape. We had like maybe one TV station back then, and there was not much on TV as well. So comics were the greatest escape for kids from the 1980s, especially in India. So these were published in English, and they were also published in a few other languages like Hindi and other stuff. So this is the very first issue. This book was like $2 back in the 1980s, the very first issue. Slowly over the years, it was like $3 or $4 by the time it reached the mid-1980s. So I had all these books. Each and every one of these volumes were purchased by my dad, and you know, when I was too young to read, he would actually show me the pictures and read the word balloons here. So an integral part of my childhood. So I started reading comic books with Disney, Walt Disney, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, all the other stuff. So this is the very first issue. Unfortunately, as the years went by, I mean, these books were just great. If you can see, I mean, these were amazing books. Let's see, trying to make a video by holding my phone, but it's a bit more complicated. But yeah, I'll try and manage. So this is volume 1. We had some informative stuff as well here. Let's see if I can get to issue number 2. Just gonna give you an overview of the books, just show you what it was like. These books are really fragile because, you know, they're like 45-year-old books. The paper is really fragile. I don't want to damage them. Look at this old ad from the 1980s for Dunlop Roadster tires. Ads for Campa-Cola. It brings back memories of bygone era, if I say so myself. So close this door so that you get a lot of light in here. Turn on a little light so that, you know. And the one thing that was great, not only these initial books that were released here, what is this? I think this is issue number 2. No, it's number 3. Yeah, issue number 3. So this was, I guess, 1980s as well. This was, I think, the first issue that featured Zorro the Fox. So, yeah, there you go. So, Volume 1 and Volume 2 had a bit of Zorro in them, along with the Disney characters as well. So, at the very end of the book, you had the Zorro stories. Sergeant Garcia and Don Diego de la Vega. Like, I never really liked the Zorro stories in these comic books. I used to complete the Disney part and leave the Zorro. But as I got older, maybe the late 80s, when I was like 12 or 11 or 10 years old, I started reading the Zorro issue part of these books as well, and I really enjoyed that. It was really nice. I guess Zorro really wasn't something a young kid would appreciate, a 5-year-old. But as you get older, the Zorro stories were good. Later in Volume 3, they completely discontinued the Zorro stories, and they were selling Zorro as a separate magazine by then. So I think this is a Christmas special ad for Paris Eclairs. Brings back the 80s, man. Brings back memories of the 80s. It's a Christmas issue. Yeah, you also had a pen pal corner here, some puzzles, and some information about places in India that were kind of like famous for stuff. Where's the pen pal page? Just want to show you. Yeah, I can't see the pen pal page yet. I'll probably find them in the later issues. So this is all Volume 1. Volume 1. Persons Who Became Words. Like, they had quite a bit of stuff. Still $2. Still $2. It's all Volume 1. There are 12 issues in here from Volume 1. There you go. Pen Friends column. I wonder what these people are doing today. I mean, look at their hobbies. This guy, Suman from Madras, he had hobbies of reading, stamp collecting, cycling, music, correspondence. These were the days before cable TV, before, mobile phones, apps, I mean, GPS, days before, Netflix or the internet, the internet itself. Life was uncomplicated. Life was very simple. This is how you made friends back then. So, this is all Volume 1. Volume 1. The good thing is I had even these books, The Black Hole, The Jungle Book, which were bookshelf series. These books were, the motion pictures were converted into comic books by Walt Disney, and they were being sold by Chandamama Classics and Comics under the bookshelf series. So I had the entire bookshelf series of books as well, but unfortunately they all got destroyed by termites. So these are not the books that I actually owned. I was searching for these books online for several years, actually decades, and finally ended up finding these books online, like the first 4 volumes of these books. So I found these books last year and went ahead and bought all 4 volumes just to, I found them on a site called Pastcart, in case any of you is wondering, in case any of you are wondering about the site. But yeah, I bought them on Pastcart, all 4 volumes. I mean, it cost me a lot of money for vintage books, but hey, you can't put a price on memories, right? So I bought these books and here they are. Yeah, I mean, the paper is fragile, but what can I expect? They're not the books that I owned. These were owned by someone else. I had each and every one of them, but unfortunately destroyed by termites. So this book, it was bound by this guy by the name of Ariz. I guess he's the one who owned this book. I bought this online, and here's Volume 2. So I'll show you Volume 2 as well. Flip through a few pages of Volume 2. Look at those ads from the 1980s, man. 1980s. Still have Zorro in these books. So Wow, these books bring back memories. Bring back memories of summer vacations, pop-ins. Look at that. I mean, I'm sure none of you young kids from, Generation Beta or Generation Alpha know anything about these things, but hey, for people who belong to Generation X or, Generation Y, the millennials, I don't even think the millennials will know about this. I think Generation X. So these are the various languages in which these comics were published in India. So amazing, amazing books. Bring back memories of lying on the bed and my dad actually reading all these word balloons and showing me the photos, all the pictures. 007 bubblegum. Can you believe that? I mean, those were simpler times. Those were simpler times. So I'm just going to skip through this. I'm going to flip through the pages to show you what it is. It's a bit difficult trying to handle it this way, but hey, look at this. Typhoon, Typhoon. Yeah, baby. Memories of summer vacations, reading these books, and, having some nice snacks, eating these snacks and reading these books. Memories that I can never forget, man. So that's volume 1. These two books, there are 12 issues here and 12 issues here, 24 issues in volume 1. Now I'll show you volume 2. I'm going to do it a bit fast to skip through. So volume 2 began in the 1981 to be precise. So yeah, Crunch biscuits. Wonder if anyone even remembers any of this stuff. I even had the Christmas specials and summer specials. My dad bought each and every one of these books. Volume 2, there you go, number 4. And the books were still 2 rupees back then. I guess this is the Christmas edition of this book. Yeah, I just wanted to make a video because I've searched for these videos on YouTube, but I never saw anyone showcasing these books. Dippy's tomato sauce and ketchup. Oh my God, the 1980s. The 1980s. I'm just gonna flick through the books and show you what's going on. Nutrin chocolates, eclairs. I mean, Cadbury's had its eclairs, and people like Nutrin and Parry's tried to compete with them. I mean, look at all these things. I had all these books as well, The Tiger Walks, all destroyed by termites, but luckily I was able to find a few of these books. And so that's volume 2, 12 issues of volume 2, some more issues from volume 2 again, the other 12 issues, 24 issues a year, so these are a few more issues from volume 2. Look at this. I think you remember this guy. He was a rage back in the 1980s, a lot of ads, not like today's cricket players with their ads, but I mean, yeah, the 80s, different time, man, different time. Look at this. Look at this. I love these books, man. I'm so happy I was able to find part of my childhood that was lost. So can't put a price on that, man. Ads for toothpaste. Wonderful, wonderful times, man. Simpler times. People were more innocent back then. We didn't have the internet to search for stuff. So that's volume 2, 1981 to 1982. Then we have volume 3. There we go, volume 3. I'm sure this video is going to be a bit long, but I just want to show you all these beautiful books for any one of you who has these memories of the 80s, who cherish the 80s. I mean, look at this art, look at these books. I mean, wow, 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 wow. I still had the Pen Friends column. This is the New Year edition. Let's see how much this book was back in, 1983 or volume Volume 3, number 5. Wow, it's increased to 2 rupees 25 pice now, man. So, look at that, Paris and Claire's. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I mean, this is what we had as kids. We would just spend time with our comic books. Spend time with our comic books. Just read them and read them and reread them. So, just beautiful books, man, beautiful books. I mean, I don't know, but I just love these books from the 1980s. And now I'll show you Volume 3, the other 12 edition, 12 comics, or 12 issues from 1983. I'm looking for Volume 5 because I can't find the entire set of Volume 5 issues, which were released by this publisher. I can only find like 5 or 6 of these books sold on Passport. I just want to have the entire bound collection this way. So, yeah, look at this, man. Look at this stuff. Beautiful comic books from the 1980s. Some of these stories were printed by, some of these stories here were from Paul Murray, some of them from Carl Barks. Some of them, well, there was no Don Rosa back then, but I don't remember any other artists, but look at this stuff. Look at this stuff. This is a famous Carl Barks story, I guess, yeah. The Flying Dutchman. Famous Carl Barks story from the 1950s. Reprinted here. So that's Volume 3. Now we're going to Volume 4. Thank you to this guy, man. Thank you to this guy for, I mean, whoever this guy is, this kid, he just kept his books. I was able to buy his books from this seller online, and that's a great thing. There you go. 20th October 1983. It's now $2.50 a copy. 60 a year. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. So this is Volume 4. Volume 4, Volume 3 and Volume 4, Volume 5, they don't have any more Zorro. It's just the Disney. And in case you didn't observe it, they changed the name as well. They changed the name from Walt Disney's Wonder World. They changed the name to Mickey and Donald Comics. So this is the, I guess this, it's no longer called Wonder World from next issue. It's just called Mickey and Donald Comics from next issue. So Mickey and Donald. So you don't have the Wonder World name there anymore. Look at that, Melody Toffees. I still remember having these toffees as a kid, reading these books. Some great stuff from Super Goof. This is a classic story by Carl Barks here. Wow, look at these. Oh, some of these movies out here that were released at that time. The Fox and the Hound, some of these cartoons which were released in the theaters. Wow, wow, wow. I hope you guys don't mind this long video, because I don't see a single video of these books online, man. I hope this brings back memories of your childhood as well. My childhood is not the same as my adult life. I just cherish my life during the 1980s, man. If I had a time machine, I'd go back and sit with my comics, 1980s, and savor that life again. You will never get those days back. Never, ever. Wow, look at these. They have a little bit of puzzles and stuff in here. Crossword puzzles. They started Gyro Corner, where he talks about some stuff like, you know, scientific stuff, educational things. Yeah. So Volume 4 finally went to $3. So slowly they increased the price. It was $2 in 1980, and this is $3 now, Volume 4. I think it's 1983, 84, almost closing in on volume 5, which would be the last freaking. Oh wow! I still remember this particular book vividly. I was what, like 6 years old, I think. Yeah, I was 6 years old. It was 1984. My grandfather was in the hospital. He had some kind of an issue, so they took him to the hospital, and my dad bought this book for me and gave it to me when I was in the hospital. So still vividly remember everything, man. I was like 6 years old back then. As I said, nothing like childhood memories to cherish. And I'm really glad I was able to find these books again after my entire collection of books from the 1980s was destroyed by termites. I had a huge collection. Big Disney fan. So, yeah. So basically, that's it, guys. That's it. That is my